Generals, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Company of Heroes 2. We are the Generals Gentlemen. I'm the Machine.
And I'm Archon Hawk. I'm excited.
Oh, I cut you off.
You did indeed.
Not before.
I mean, it's forgivable.
We're a little bit giddy. We're a little bit excited here over at Generals Gentlemen headquarters. And the reason why that is because we're actually live streaming this. But not only are we live streaming this, we're live streaming in 720p. And that's pretty cool. The bitrate isn't fantastic, but it means that the people are actually watching this live as we are recording as well locally. So that's pretty cool. And our heroes for today will be OnceOver as our Americans. He's one of the top 10, so a pretty competent USF player.
He is indeed. His opponent for today is going to be SturmTigerGiap. He's going to be playing as our OKW with those Sturm Pioneers denying the wire. That's
really good wire though. That is very important wire, because having that heavy cover on the truck can definitely be hard to break through, especially against Sturm Pioneers. Sturm Pioneers are just generally hard to beat if they're behind heavy cover. Honestly, you're best off avoiding them. Yeah. Like, you can try and long range poke with riflemen, but unless you're in heavy cover as well,
you're probably gonna lose.
And even then, it takes a while. So Sturm Pioneers, I just avoid them honestly if they're behind heavy cover. So Faymanville approach. It's an okay map. In my opinion, I generally think it's a pretty good map for Axis, because you can really spam MGs and sort of lock down the map, especially with how cheap the MG34s are. And these garrisons are really weak, and they have not many windows. Like, honestly, I've had countless people try and take that garrison, and there's one window. You can just stand behind it and just kill it. So other than that, we'll have to see how they play this one. 3 riflemen coming out from OnceOver. Very, very standard USF build. So I'm going to GeneralsGentlemen. Triple Volks, actually.
Triple Volks,
so
yeah.
Doesn't want to go double Sturm.
Yeah, so 2 Volks, pretty usual. 3 Volks, pretty Volks heavy build. Let's see how he does decide to play with that one.
Personally, I prefer going double Sturm, double Volks, and then tech. I do like having a second Sturm Pioneer squad. I think Sturm Pioneers are essential against riflemen, because Volks, they're not fantastic against riflemen, and they're not supposed to be. Also, having the repair is nice, but you can make Volks work. It does give you a lot of like long-range firepower.
Can definitely be nice to have. It's just going to be garrison walls, and you only have 1 window each. It makes for some very, very slow fighting.
Yeah,
we do have that recognized here by OnceOver. He does take the heavy cover up near there.
So far, we have double fuel for SturmTigerGiap. He's looking really strong. Having a fuel lead isn't as much of a huge deal for OKW as it is for other factions, because it's kind of hard and to rush that Panzer II compared to, say, rushing a T-70 or a Panzer IV. These Volks aren't behind the heavy cover, but nor are these riflemen, so they're both taking a lot more damage than what they should be. Volks going through the neg cover, they will survive that one though, but these Volks up to the side are doing pretty well for themselves. Again, not actually taking the heavy cover. Questionable.
You want to be moving those guys forward. Apart from that, pretty aggressive capping thus far here from OnceOver. He's trying to move forward, trying to take back a little bit in terms of ground here. Another Sturm Pioneer squad going to be coming out for Giap. He's going to get a few more squads on the field, so no early tech building yet for him.
Yep, and this is one of those really brutal cutoffs. By getting that cutoff, you basically prevent the entire left side for your opponent, and it's a similar thing with the north cutoff, but that north cutoff is so much easier to hold. I think the left side has a bit of an advantage here on Faymanville for that reason, essentially. Sturm Pioneers will be fine. They're behind heavy cover. They should be closer though. You want to be at close, you want to be at medium with Sturm Pioneers. Rear echelon are there as well. We'll get the truck for the pushing, which is nice. That will force the rifleman away, but he should be closing in with the Sturm Pioneers. Double Sturms actually, so a pretty heavy infantry opener. He's gone 5 infantry. Generally standard is 4 into the tech, but that can work, having that heavy infantry firepower. Probably we'll see him go his medic now.
To look for some map control, we get med truck. Be the ideal thing, given how heavy the infantry play has been thus far from him. He's moving his Sturms in together, and we have a mass rifleman retreat there coming out from OnceOver. Has his ambo on the field, so really does want to heal them up, make sure he's not dropping models for no reason, and the Lieutenant has also hit the field.
Indeed, Lieutenant does bring in a lot of firepower, and he's probably going to need that, given the 5 infantry opener coming out of SturmTigerGiap. I do really love going Lieutenant, mainly for the M20. I think the M20 just offers so much for the US forces. It Because the lack of Panzerfaust on your general OKW infantry, you can be really aggressive with it. And it's very hard to kill with Raketenwerfers and Volksschrecks because of how fast it is, both its movement speed and its acceleration. So you can be very, very balls deep with it and really try and get those squad wipes or just force units off the map. Even with Volksschrecks, the M20 actually outranges the Shreks.
Yeah.
And it has the sight range to do so. So it's very hard to shut down, and having those M6 mines gives a lot of AT that the Americans do need.
Definitely is nice. Have the lock in for OnceOver as well. It's going to be going for that airborne. Some paratroopers on the field soon, hopefully. Have some pathfinders. See what he decides to go for there. Yeah, Window's definitely not helping out SturmTigerGiap at the moment. Can't really get enough of those pioneers firing away.
These garrisons are awful.
Heavy cover.
These
yeah,
are
really
bad
not nice.
garrisons.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to raise a family in that garrison. You know where you want to raise a family?
Where would you like to raise a family?
You want to raise a family on the church from Samoski.
That's a nice place to raise a family.
Or the one on the fuel point.
Yeah.
Those are really family-friendly garrisons.
Nice and open. M20 is on the field now for OnceOver,
nice.
so yeah, retreating away is Giap. Doesn't want to be caught out by that. Drop bottles quite efficiently, but I think he probably has a fair bit of munitions in the back. Should have enough for a Volstrek, should Giap. He's going for a quick Puma,
Nice.
in fact. Yeah, very, very quick
Good.
Puma. So,
That's how you deal with the M20. Going for the M6 mine, though. And the thing is to bear in mind, when you see your opponent have an M20, you count the bars. How many bars does my opponent have? How many bars do you see?
I see no bars,
Well, you see one, but that's the lieutenant.
Oh, that's the lieutenant.
If you see no bars, if you see no bazookas, your opponent is putting down mines.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
as simple as that. That being said, though, to be fair, he is airborne, so he could go the weapons. Puma has joined the field. These riflemen gonna have a hard time retreating past those double Sturm Pioneers. Also the Pumas. Oh, that mine! He may hit the Puma with that mine, and that will one-shot it. But he actually does get around it. Oh, the M20's in the garrison. That's actually a good move here. The Puma may just focus it down. He can pop the smoke and try and juke around. Let's see how he plays this one. The Puma will chase it. The bazooka isn't actually firing on the side. Does lose the M20. Didn't pop the smoke. Probably should have.
Definitely a nice try, though, from OnceOver. I really do like that, putting the crew inside the building and then trying to use the riflemen to get the M20 out of there. Wasn't quite in time, but still a nice idea.
Now, the problem there is the M20 is faster than the Puma, and he had plenty of time. He should not have lost that M20. Really, as simple as that.
Yeah.
Oh, the M6 mine, though! Gets the Puma! Nice.
Catch you later.
Nice.
That's definitely cost efficiency and a half there for OnceOver.
Trading an M20 for a Puma is an excellent choice. What he can just rebuild the M20.
Yeah.
There is no reason why he couldn't. Apart from Trex, Lieutenant actually, oh, that's a bad retreat path. That isn't a retreat path that you want to be in. I would not suggest that retreat path.
GeneralsGentlemen do not recommend you retreat through that. Oh, I guess that's a really token effort, isn't it? It's just like, got one member left. He's even worth retreating. Probably going to lose that one. Airborne got on the assault, though. Paratroopers are going to be coming in. Close on the heavy cover. Very, very nicely there. So, no issues managing to drop another model of that Strumpire squad. Has maybe... I don't know if he lost a rifleman squad. He lost the lieutenant. I think he might have gone a couple of riflemen with that lieutenant.
Three Volks and three Sturms.
Sturms.
This is a playstyle that we don't see. People generally don't go that heavy. Volk squad sticking around for a little bit too long. Fortunately, he won't retreat through the LMGs. Because generally, when it gets to this stage, you want to get Obers, you want to get Fallschirmjäger, you want to get MG34s. So, I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's just different. You don't see it very often, and we'll see how it plays out. Sturm Pioneers, you got to be careful. They do have problems scaling into the mid to late game. The problem is short-range infantry overall, blobs against blobs, they don't really contribute until they're close, especially LMG paratroopers. They can just burst and shred Sturm Pioneers by the time they do get close, unless they are flanking, which definitely is an option here on Faymanville. Like, 3 against 1, that's easy mode.
Yeah,
and we'll retreat from that. Also, bear in mind, we do have the infiltration tactics. Sturm Pioneers cannot use that, but it will give his Volks some extra firepower. Medical crates being thrown down. You kind of do have to when you don't go your tier 1. I always like seeing that. It's probably the GeneralsGentlemen #1 hate, is when people don't build
some type of meds. Yeah.
It's expensive, but you can do the munitions transfer if you need, and he's not actually going Shreks, and you don't need Shreks when you have Pumas. So Yeah, you're losing your munitions, but it's not a huge deal if you just don't need the munitions. Simple as that. I don't like relying on them. It is nice having the med truck, but you don't have to rush it immediately. So I think what we're going to see, or at least what I would like to see, is Tier 4 go down.
Yeah.
Get a Panzer II, and the reason why, LMG paratroopers are scary. Like, they're bad.
They're going to be so hard to deal with, and they came out very early as well. For OnceOver, instantly went with that upgrade because he did have a bit of munitions in the bank. I don't have to grab that one.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Riflemen gonna have a hard time retreating for this. Vet 2 as well, giving the Sturm Pioneers extra accuracy. And we'll try and chase them down. So, the Airborne, a couple of reasons. They have a high reinforced cost. There's 6-man squads, so they're more vulnerable to AoE weapons. And they have no AT grenades. So, you can go balls deep with Panzer IIs. But normally, against Riflemen, you have to bear in mind the AT grenade. It sort of factors how aggressively you can play. But against Paratroopers, no, there's no restrictions to your Panzer II. Apart from the M1. The M1's going to be nice against the Panzer II. Probably what OnceOver is anticipating. So, we'll have to see how he plays this one. He is putting, yeah, this Tier 4, nice. And that's a really good spot. Because it protects two things. Down here, though, Sturm Pioneers closing the gap. Heavy cover giving them some pretty good protection. Paratroopers are being destroyed up close. LMG's not exactly good at close. Whereas the Sturm Pioneers, close is, that's where they want to be.
So protecting both the cut-off, as you were going to say, protecting both the cut-off as well as the victory point on that side. And it has a nice garrison off to the side. It might not be good to house your family, as you were saying earlier, but it is nice to cover your Tier 4 from at least one angle, because the M1 siege has begun here.
Yeah, exactly. It is in the open. Generally, you want to have your trucks around a hedge, behind a garrison, something like that. But what I was going to say is that the VP and the cutoff are covered. You want to have those here.
Yeah.
And the problem with having that Tier 2, no infantry support gun. Infantry support guns are a good way to deal with the M1 AT gun siege. Sturm Pioneer is going in close here. We'll force it away. If he did cruise out, he can blow it up with the Shrek, but the LMGs are actually suppressing. What's going to do is does retreat, so he's got 7 squad. This is a crazy build.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And when you have this much infantry, the unit preservation has to be on par, and so far it has been.
Hasn't been losing much.
Almost lost that squad than the garrison. Again, those garrisons are incredibly weak. They die to pretty much any kind of explosives. So I think the question here is, can OnceOver siege that down? And he probably can if he has vision. If you don't have vision, you miss all the time. But if you have vision,
At the moment.
you can actually take that out. Like, even just suiciding the echelon, yeah, he's going to lose that. Can the Panzer II come out in time? The Sturm Pioneer is buying some time, and he may lose that Tier 4. It's definitely a bit too in the open, I believe. Volley fire will suppress these Sturm Pioneers, but maybe not in time.
It's almost done too as well. The P2 is just about out. There's no Sturms repairing either. I don't think the M1's hit the last couple of shots.
Yeah, it's missing.
Yeah,
Again,
it's missing off
you
the
need
side.
vision.
Really close.
It can be hard to get vision as US forces. That's why paratroopers, Pathfinders are really strong.
Nice.
Whereas with Soviets, what I generally like doing is go Su-85s because they have their own vision.
They can pop their own vision. It's definitely nice. For the siege, so the boss may manage to force off the M1 here. As long as the M1 gets taken low enough, the P2 should be fine. It's close as well. It's coming on the road now.
Nade going through. Won't actually achieve much there, and those LMG on the paratroopers doing a lot of damage. The Panzer II has been completed. Where is it?
Well, it's up to
Oh,
the
there
right
it is.
there, yeah,
Nice
just coming
flank.
in, yep.
But again, there are the Vet 2 riflemen there. Actually, may even just snipe the ambulance down. Paratroopers are very low.
M1's getting refaced off to the side.
Yep, still out of the range. Does retreat that one. See the M1. Oh, he got it. He got it.
Yeah, finished it off.
So what he should do, if he can, which he probably can't, is destroy the husk. Because otherwise, you can salvage that. Give you 12 fuel back, but he won't be able to because of the Panzer II does fire on the Volks. Not the ideal unit here, but look at the territory. SturmTigerGiap has the entire map, and when he has 6 squads, that's not actually a surprise to see. Vehicle crew from that M20, he's still alive. Out in the open though, Panzer IIs do some nice damage. Only 1 bazooka isn't exactly a lot.
Too hard for him to deal with. Major actually has veterancy. Don't know how that happened.
Now this has been a very high action game, and it's resulted in a lot of early command points. 10 command points already, and we're only like 15 minutes into the game.
Take long there for SturmTigerGiap. As it is 10 command points, all he needs for Command Panther, is it?
Yeah, the Command Panther.
Command Panther, making sure I'm calling it the right name. So it has that available once he does have the fuel left. See if he does decide to rebuild the tier 4 and probably just go straight into that Command Panther.
Really should repair that Panzer II, especially as the Veteran C2 has gone down. Can he find the extra shot? They do have a lot of extra range when you pop that Vet 1 ability. That's not where you want to repair your Panzer II.
It's not a safe place.
This is where you want to repair your Panzer II. So, should back that way, nice. Also because he can repair itself on the vehicle. So, now the thing is with this commander, the name does elude me. But it's actually a very strong indirect counter to the airborne. And I'll go over that in a sec once these Volks Grenadiers finish being shot at by vehicle crews. They actually have pretty high DPS with those grease guns, but they are quite squishy and do die a bit easily. Nice ambush with the Sturm Pioneers, but they're too low to actually ambush, so they won't be able to achieve much there. Meanwhile, Volks Grenadiers are in the house, and this is a lot of people on the field. Really a lot of infantry, still relying on those medical supplies despite having the T1. It repairs very quickly, and the repairs do stack. Grenade going through. Takes that Volk squad rather low. Nice retreat path. He evacted on the other side, so he can actually try and walk around. Nice bait. Because now it's going to waste a couple of seconds. He still might die though, but that was actually a really good juke, and he can still salvage that.
Really nicely played thus far from SturmTigerGiap, managing to hold the map to sheer infantry power here. Mortar, Howitzer mortar carriage has hit the field now for OnceOver though, so obviously looking to punish these infantry blobs. We'll have to see how that goes for him. There is a P2 on the field, so it's got to be careful. Yeah,
and that Panzer II will give so much anti-infantry firepower, because normally the paratroopers would just reign supreme. So that Panzer II absolutely essential, and if it does get taken out, then SturmTigerGiap will be in a hard spot, because these paratroopers can just win every engagement, essentially. Meanwhile, M8 has hit the field. Interesting choice.
Yeah.
It can actually deal with the Panzer II, as long as he keeps it at range, as well as having such awesome infantry firepower. And look at the shred from the Panzer II. He needs to retreat that. We'll do it. M1 is firing again. Really, really good range. Did he wipe that? He wiped the paratroopers.
He wiped it, yeah. Wiped the paratroopers.
Oh, man. Loses the munitions as well on the LMGs. Not much munitions left here. Can't actually afford the upgrade again, so it's going to have to be a very static playstyle with the M1 and the M8, but at least the M1 is almost Vet 3. It's going to give a lot of utility over, and I think the problem here for SturmTigerGiap is he won't have very good late game scaling with his infantry. Sturm Pioneers, they don't scale the best, I sort of mentioned it earlier, because they're close range firepower, and Volks Grenadiers just aren't that great anti-infantry. They scale up well as a dependable anti-tank method with their Shreks, their accuracy and their health at Vet 5. Because the Vet 4 gives ridiculous accuracy, so they always hit. Their Vet 5 gives them a fair bit of tankiness, their survivability, and they're just cheap to reinforce. But they don't have very good anti-infantry, so you can't really rely on them, especially against like riflemen and against paratroopers especially. Whereas normally if you have the Panzer Fusiliers or the Obersoldaten, you actually can really just depend on having the better infantry. But in this case, SturmTigerGiap, he definitely has the numbers, but not really the better infantry in this case. Unless there's some really nice Sturm Pioneer flanks. M8 actually getting shot by the Shrek. Does a lot of damage here. Really should back away though. 2 more shots will take that out. Gee, what?
I'm not sure.
That's like a weapon crew. Like it's.
The crew is like.
That's weird.
I have no idea what that was, to be honest.
Yeah, that was the. Ooh, the Panzer II actually make it take out. The M8 fired from downtown over the building and got the killing blow because
that was a long shot.
The M1 has to 3-shot. Wow, that M8 actually
really nice.
Putting him back into the game, losing the squad here as well. Sturm Pioneers are going to close the gap here. The M8 doing some really good damage. The M8s are so powerful, but they're easy to lose. You really need to have some sort of armor. I've lost games to this. You can't rely on Shreks and Raketenwerfers. You think you can, but no, you can't. You can't kill the M8 with infantry and Raketenwerfers. As tempting as it may feel, you can't do it. Now, what I was going to rant about a while ago, before things started happening, my rant.
Why is it good against the airborne?
Okay, so for a start, the infiltration tactics gives Volks Grenadiers a way to deal with paratroopers. Volks Grenadiers, they mentioned, they're not fantastic, but with those infiltration tactics, they really can deal with paratroopers or at least force the retreat. So that helps. And the command tank, because it has extra range over the regular Panther, it means Jacksons are ridiculously hard to use. Because Jackson's the only thing that they have over Panthers in exchange for more health, more armor, more anti-infantry firepower. Like, the only thing that they have is range. But the command tank has extra range. The Jacksons pretty much, they still have more range. You can't outrange a Panther, but it's really hard to do so. Like, Command Panther, rather. May lose that, the garrison might blow up if he hit that with the M8. What? He didn't fire.
Weird.
M8, what are you doing? Oh, there you, wow.
There we go. Nice shot. That's a really weak garrison.
Some questionable plays. Why would you take the garrison against an M8? Honestly.
Probably shouldn't have.
But, yeah, so the Command Panther is very strong against the Jackson. And by going airborne, you are forced to go Jackson. There's just no other AT. That's why I kind of enjoy the Bulldozer Sherman from Armor Company in Easy 8s. What's going to do is, may lose their life here. They should be fine though. There are 3 members in that squad, so we'll retreat through that. Because you can rely on M1s, but, you know, then you're playing a static playstyle. Double M1s, double M8s. Okay, this actually may work.
Definitely could do it. Plus, I mean, look at SturmTigerGiap. I mean, he went 4. Ooh. He's got 4 Sturms now and starting to rebuild the tier 4, which is actually getting fired on by the Major. This is the one good use of the Major barrage. Please call it in OnceOver, I believe.
Yeah, actually, he could have killed that maybe with a Major barrage. So anyway, vehicle crews, not very effective. They're just so weak. They're nice to have for flanking power against like Volksgrens, but against Sturms, don't stand a chance. So, yeah, if there is a Command Panther with double M1s, the Panther may get taken out.
Probably deal with it.
I mean,
there's a lot of repairs.
What SturmTigerGiap could do if he wanted to go tricky, he could go a Stuka. But it's a bit of a risk, because they can get taken out. So, he may even just go for a King Tiger. And that's a bad garrison. He may lose that squad because the paratroopers, he lost it already. Oh no, he didn't. One member. He may lose that on retreat here. So, M8 as well, very good at squad wiping. They can chase down. He's just losing a lot of these squads here. Actually got away. Wow, that's a surprise. Oh, the fence wasn't there, that's why. Normally, if he had to vault the fence, it would have taken a while. So, Giap is losing a lot of his squads here, unfortunately.
Just really hasn't been paying off for him. He's having issues winning their engagements, really, since he lost that first Puma.
Yeah, and
he had good map control, but
you need the Puma against the M8s.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just losing the squads.
He's just really throwing them into these M8s like without a way to deal with them. You really shouldn't be doing it.
You shouldn't cap that point with the Volt squad.
He's got so many VPs to play with as well, does Giap. I mean, that's really what he's playing here. He's playing the VP game because he has 2 of them, almost a third. 55 VPs down now for OnceOver. He's really looking to win on VPs. He's
going to lose this squad. If he keeps... Oh, I'm not sure what he's doing. He's going to lose this squad. It's Vet 5.
Oh,
he lost a Vet 5 Volt squad with a Shrek. Not happy.
Unfortunate, I have to say.
I mean, I'm not exactly impressed. But, I mean, I keep saying the M8s are fantastic. But, you know, you shouldn't try and cap points underneath 2 M8s.
I recommend it. It's going to see Roketenwerfer coming out now from Giap. 135 fuel for him. He needs, I think it's 200 for the Command Panther. Yeah.
200, yeah. So, honestly, I think a Puma would be a good choice. Because the Puma can chase them M8s down, and with the smoke, it can avoid those... It can avoid those M1s. But, again, the M1s are going to be pretty effective against the Puma, despite that smoke.
VP's still ticking though, 24 VPs.
Yeah, so I think Giap's just playing it desperate. He's going for the VP games. M8's actually crushing the Sturm Pioneers.
Wow.
And the vehicle crew may turn to engage the Sturm Pioneers. Good DPS here, but retreating a little bit late here. So,
I think I've ever seen a vehicle crew survive as long as that one has.
The VPs are getting low. They are getting very low.
Yeah, I mean the top one is still held by Giap. He's just camping SturmTiger squad on there to at least stop the caps. And the bottom one, if it does get capped, which looks like it will without the M8 actually wiping anything.
Now, the other option for SturmTigerGiap is he needs mines and Shreks. Like, if he puts mines on these commonly used roads and keeps a Volk squad in ambush out of sight, and you can use that. Like, this is a really good spot for mining. That spot there, pathing, like, the AI in this game loves pathing over that spot. Yeah. I always telemine that spot. Pro secret, if you ever 1v1 me, the machine, get a minesweeper, because I telemine that spot. That's my little secret. Yeah. That's my confession. And yes, and I got enough crews. I lost my M3 in like 3 minutes because Cruz shoe mined that spot. Yeah, it's a good mine spot. So the VPs are being capped back, and SturmTigerGiap, he's in a lot of trouble.
He's in
a lot of trouble because the thing is with paratroopers like Obers and like most LMG units, they don't need a veterancy. Because of the raw damage of M19s and because of their long range, they're not quite in combat as much. You don't need veterancy to make them powerful. Of course, you want to have veterancy. What I'm saying is if you like lose all of your squads, if you have to replace them and you're having a Vet Zero squad battle, the paratroopers with M19s, they will come up top. Where things like Volks, Riflemen, Sturm Pioneers, Grenadiers, they need veterancy. And the M8s are just destroying these blobs of infantry. I think SturmTigerGiap, he wants to blob the VPs and just win on the VP game. There's only 15 left, so he can actually do this pretty quickly.
He can definitely do this as long as he forces off the infantry, if nothing else. But the airborne, see there, that's what you were talking about there. The LMGs are just shredding the Sturms.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts of damage.
Indeed. And actually, make it the bottom one. Again, all he needs is one VP because he has the top already.
Yeah.
And it won't take long. But the M8s, they're doing what they do best. So, looking at the fuel for SturmTigerGiap, he has lost his fuel income. He's so close to his command Panther. And I think it's actually a bit of a misplay from OnceOver. He just isn't preparing for it. When you're in this situation where you have the game 100%, but your opponent hasn't quit, you sort of think, why hasn't my opponent quit? Why is my opponent still in this game? What could I lose to? Just as I say it, Jackson comes out. Fantastic from OnceOver. That's really good. That's a fantastic play. You always, that's common to heroes. You always got to predict your opponent. What can my opponent do? What am I not prepared for? He's got a Jackson. That's great. I'm happy. So, but again, the Command Panthers are quite strong against Jacksons, but he has a Vet 3 AT gun. If he just has the Jackson near the M1, if he has a rifle squad with the AT grenades, he should be fine. And the M8s as well. The M8s actually do penetrate pretty good. The M8s aren't awful against tanks. You just want to make sure they're out of range because they're quite squishy. But they will make an impact. Same as like pack howitzers and infantry support guns. You might lose that. That garrison is bad garrison. Bad garrison is bad.
M8 shot, bad M8 shot. That's the Vet 5 and
bad garrison is bad. I called it. I called it.
See you later.
I mean, I think it's a bug, but these garrisons are rubbish. They need to get fixed.
Yeah, there's something wrong with them.
This one's fine. This one's okay. No, everything. I've had my opponents garrison that building with like P-grains, and I have my guards, and I'm like, nah, buddy, you don't want to be in that garrison. And
that's
the PTRS.
The PTRS just showed the garrison.
Yeah. Time and time again, just never take them.
Poor construction.
Unless you're versing like small arms.
Yeah.
Like if you're versing rifle, okay, sure, but be careful of the nades. The nades can detonate them as well.
So is OnceOver becoming the bottom VP?
Ooh,
he stuck a Sturm squad in there.
So
that's a big deal.
M8 though, he can actually push them, evac and delay it. He needs to do that. He'll lose it, but he might lose this game if he doesn't get that VP back. Out of position here. He needs to get back there in time. The M8 once again, he can push. He can vehicle crew. I would vehicle crew. I would do it.
Vehicle crew now, or at least kill the squad.
Yeah, but he can't
rely. Nah, it's too late. It's too late.
It's too late. I mean, he can vehicle crew now. He's fine. He's fine. Vehicle crew. Vehicle crew. Vehicle crew.
Vehicle crew.
Come on, OnceOver, I believe.
OnceOver, please.
I believe, OnceOver.
12 VPs.
Come on,
OnceOver. I think he's listening. Oh, M8 actually got taken very, very low there. I think there was a Raketenwerfer shot, if nothing else, in the middle.
Well, it's a vehicle crew to be fair, but he's cutting it close. And still, SturmTigerGiap, he can afford his Command Panther. So, it's going to come down to the Jackson. How does he keep that Jackson alive? Blake and I, we cast League of Legends. We have a term for this. It's called peeling. How do you peel your squishy? You gotta have the mines.
Yeah, you got the mines.
Just kidding. You're a USF. You don't have mines, so you gotta have your M1s. Did you lose the vet on the M1? Ooh, we lost the vet.
I think he might have done too. Yeah. Raketenwerfer took a few shots down the Sturms as well. So, look, I mean, 7 VPs. We're talking here. It's a very, very close game. Quite tense. No one's actually moving any units.
Well, I mean, to be fair, OnceOver has a VP.
OnceOver, he knows where he wants to be.
Also, bear in mind, the rocket strafe is coming soon, and that's going to be great. The thing is with the rocket strafe is he's actually getting shot at, and that will actually penetrate the Jacks consistently. You got to be careful. Jackson doesn't have a lot of armor. The rocket strafe, it'll hit a tank if it's driving forward or standing still. Yeah, he's losing this. He's going to lose the Jackson. What that means, it'll mean that the difference between 2 and 3 shots. Because a Panther will almost 3-shot a Jackson, but not quite.
Yeah, and the Panther's actually
coming down. It's a 2-shot now. It's getting 2-shotted by this Panther. He doesn't actually...
The Panther doesn't fire at the paratroopers.
Yeah, he's firing at the Jackson, caught out of position.
It's gone.
He's going to lose that Jackson. Not a chance of being surviving this. The tier 4 gets
tier
it.
4.
That's a bit of a problem
now. Tier 4, but the Jackson has fallen now, and with that Command Panther, it might be enough to try and retake one of these VPs for SturmTigerGiap.
Now, the problem as well here for OnceOver is the paratroopers don't have smoke grenades, nor do they have AT grenades. It's kind of like the penal syndrome. Is when you spam penals, and it's like, yeah, I'm winning early infantry engagements. And then you just have no AT grenades. And then your opponent like drives around with a scout car and you just lose everything. You just have no AT grenades. And this is going to be a problem. He's got 3 paratroopers and only 1 rifleman. And don't get me wrong, paratroopers are fantastic. But he needs more support for his Jackson that died. He can afford another Jackson, that's not a problem. He's got Jackson bazookas. But they're good, but I think Thunderbolt would be...
1 rifleman squad.
Well, you can get it on like major and stuff.
Yeah.
Major echelon.
The major, yes. Yeah, he does that's a vehicle group, but yeah.
Yeah.
Get another one there. So the Command Panther is actually going to be forcing out the bottom VP from the looks of things. Trying to force off the M8s.
So long as they direct fire. Because if you do the indirect fire, the M8 it won't hit in time. Again, the penetration it isn't fantastic. It's not exactly ideal. It's sort of like a T-34. It penetrates sometimes, but not always. Like that penetrated. And actually, the captain... Oh, excuse me. The bazooka from the vehicle crew doing a bit of damage too. Sturm Pioneers will force them off. This game is pretty close.
Definitely is.
And all it takes is 1 VP for a matter of... Well, actually, this one's been capped back. So, oh yeah, one VP for only a couple of seconds. I'm not sure, Blake. Thunderbolt available.
It's not going aggressive either.
Yeah. But he can't really go aggressive because of the M8s and the AT guns. The packs are hard to use with the M8s, the Rakedenwerfer rather.
I think Giap's in some pretty serious trouble here. I think he may have just lost too many squads.
And the rear armor is a huge deal because the rear armor will make the M8s fire. It's sort of like, you know, when using Jacksons and, oh no, my rear armor's exploded. It doesn't actually matter because they're going to penetrate all the time regardless. But with a Panther, it means the difference between the bazookas and the M8s consistently penetrating. So, like, having rear armor on your Axis tanks, especially the heavy tanks, is a big deal. You don't want to have that rear armor. But other than that, trying to go for the VPs, the captain...
Oh, he managed to get the cap here.
Yeah, actually he may get it. He doesn't have to take it for very long. M8s should just focus. They can wipe that. Look at the bluff. Thunderbolt going in as well here. Almost getting taken out by the M8. It's so low. Should also push the Sturm Pioneers, but then he has to worry about the Panther. Yeah, he can't get that.
That's not going to happen. The Sturm's going to go down here. They're going to retreat from this one. GG is the call from Giap.
Sync error detected. Oh no.
That's nice and late.
Okay, now, before I jump in, any analysis? Before I jump in, before I start ranting.
I mean, you can start your rant right now, Machine.
Sure?
I'm not going to.
I want to give you a chance.
I wouldn't do that.
Come on, Blake.
Huh? Well,
I want to give you a chance.
Okay, well, I'll just try with my low level of Company of Heroes 2 meta. Very heavy early infantry build there from Giap. He just continually spamming the Volsks and the SturmPios. Wasn't really working for him. He didn't really have any late game scaling, and just eventually the M8s were too much for him to handle.